Hey all, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video we're going to be doing a really fun early game Venomous Fang build that focuses on poison, and then there's going to be a little bit of a mid-game skip that shows you all the items you need in the mid-game to turn this into a really powerful blood and poison build. This is a really great build that focuses on roars and status effects. The idea here is to build up poison fast. Roars have a status effect multiplier around 2 times for smaller weapons, 3 times for bigger weapons. Now, you would in most cases be better off hitting quicker with the faster weapons, but in this case, this build ended up being a lot of fun. Kind of ended up turning into a poison and blood brawler build, which for me was different because I don't do a lot of builds typically with roars, and then throwing in the Venomous Fang, it really was a blast. This one's definitely something you're going to want to try, and again, there's a mid-game skip and an early game guide attached to this one. It has a lot of info. It'll get you runes, items, a powerful build, everything you need. We're going to start with step 1, and like some of these, I'm not going to talk for all of every clip. There's going to be some gaps where I don't talk. The first things, though, is you're going to pick the Bandit class, and then you're going to pick the Golden Seed as your item, your keepsake. Now I'm going to show what the map icon looks like. You're going to grab every map you could possibly grab along the way. You're in no rush to do this, by the way. You could do this guide at your own pace. Take your time. For me, about all of it took around 3 or 4 hours, but those are the map icons. Pick them up along the way, and it's going to be much easier to follow. Next up, I'll show it on the map. We're going to be heading to the Ravine in a Gaol Lake. You'll get invaded here, but if you buy some time, Hunter Yura will come and help you. Assuming once he comes to help you, you can go behind him. You actually can backstab this invader, by the way. I was able to do it to him twice that time, and you can take him down fairly fast, grab the Reduvia, and head into the cave. Fight the cave's boss, Patches, and then after you beat him, he's fairly easy to beat. You can beat him with the Reduvia, you have the stats for the weapon with the Bandit class, and you're going to make him surrender, and then eventually you're going to need to refresh the area to open him up as a merchant.
I took you for an innocent water a true. I'm tarnished like only for now. In exchange for honestly, frankly. So don't be, I'll be ready to.
And for part 5 here, you're going to buy gold pickle fowl foot. You can grab 2 or 3 of these. If you have enough runes, grab all 3. If not, 2 will work fine.
Cheers for that.
Then you're going to open the chest, which is going to be a transporter trap. That's going to bring you to the second map in Limgrave, and then I'm going to show you on the map where you're going to be heading. It's north to the 3rd Church of Marika. At this lovely church, make sure you grab the Sacred Tear and the Flask of Wondrous Physic, because we're going to need that later. And then behind the church, you're going to look for Spirit Springs eventually, because we're going to be heading towards Caelid. Caelid will be the red on the map that you'll see, and you're going to grab the first Site of Grace up there, basically straight ahead from here, Rotview Balcony. To the right of Rotview Balcony, there is a fort. You can't miss it. You can see this fort from a mile away. Follow me on screen from the Site of Grace at Fort Gaol, and you're going to grab Flame Grant Me Strength. That's going to be the item that you see me looking at the end. That's going to be our first buff. After you grab the item that's in between the two fire carriages that are there, go back to Rotview Balcony, and then you're going to follow exactly what I do on screen to grab the second map, head north past that map, and go behind the big dragon in Caelid. Make sure you grab the Site of Grace before you fight the dragon behind him and rest at it. I'll show on the map where to go, and once again, make sure you rest at the Site of Grace behind the dragon before facing him. You're going to grab that Grace. Right there is the location. Now, if you're new, you can cheese this dragon. Before this dragon dies, right as its dying animation starts, you're going to hop on your horse, run behind you, and rest at the Site of Grace. The dragon won't die, but you'll still receive the runes from the dragon. And these are what I did with my first set of levels. As we move forward, I'll mention this again, but we're going to be a Dexterity and Arcane build. And this is the second set of levels. I only did this twice. You continue to farm this dragon if you want, level up Vigor, Dexterity, and Arcane, or you can move on around level 39, which is what I chose to do. Next up here, from the Dragonbarrow Site of Grace that you see there, you can continue to go south, jump over the cliff, and eventually you're going to run into a cave exactly where I'm at. This cave is going to have the Venomous Fang in it. Alright, follow me to grab the Venomous Fang. By the way, if you rest at the Site of Grace, you can actually jump over the geysers, ignore them completely, and remember, do not roll in the rot. It'll just proc rot on you. It's a slower version of rot, but even so, try to avoid rolling. Once you have the godlike weapon that is the Venomous Fang, I'm going to show exactly where on the map where you can get upgrade materials. You're going to need 12 smithing stone ones. The regular enemies will drop them, and you can find them on the walls in this cave, or this mining area. Now you'll need to beat the boss at the bottom of this cave because we're going to want the Roar Medallion. It's going to be a big part of our build. You can use the Reduvia. He's not immune to bleed. His only big attack where he slams stuff that's about the only hard attack he has. Everything else is pretty easy to dodge. Take him down, grab the Roar Medallion, and move on. Now for some business at the Roundtable hold. Follow exactly what I do on screen. It's going to help you turn this into a really powerful build as we start to build around the Venomous Fang.
No matter loud, you're a...
So I kind of made a mistake and I forgot to get 12. I ended up with 11, but you're going to want to fully upgrade the Venomous Fang. And of course, make sure you have a seal so you can use Flame Grant Me Strength. That's why we got that seal earlier. And we're going to move on and continue to build around this awesome weapon. Alright, now you're going to go to Stormhill Shack. You're going to follow me. We're going to end up meeting Knight Burnell, I believe that's how you say his name. And we're going to grab Warcry, which is a roar. It's going to be boosted by the Roar Medallion that we grabbed. And it's going to be awesome for our Venomous Fang build.
But let me ask, are you here? Does your despite? Yeah, takes me any inch. All I know. Now's the time. Well.
Now I'm going to show you exactly on the map after I beat this knight. This is the knight that drops the Golden Vow Ash of War, which we're eventually going to put on a dagger. You're going to need to fight him in Limgrave and grab this Ash of War because it's a nice buff for us. Now we're going to equip Warcry, which is an awesome Ash of War. Don't worry about heavy affinity because eventually we're going to turn this into a poison and blood build. So we're going to lean dexterity later on, and we're eventually going to go for keen affinity, then blood affinity. So for this, just stay in standard affinity. Don't even worry about heavy. We're going to continue building around the Venomous Fang. Next up on this beautiful tour of the lands in between, we're going to be going to Highroad Cave. You can follow me on screen to get there. You can actually jump down a Spirit Spring here to get there. I end up going the wrong direction initially, but then I find the Spirit Spring, fall down it, and then you will be able to get to Highroad Cave to get the Blue Dancer Charm is the goal. I'm not going to do a whole tour guide for the cave because some of these smaller areas are pretty straightforward. There's going to be some platforming and whatnot, but once you get to the boss, which eventually you will, it's not too difficult. You're going to have to defeat this boss to get him to drop the Blue Dancer Charm. That'll increase our physical damage when we have a light equipment load. Next up, we're going to grab the charged tier. At the end of this clip, I will show the map, and you'll be able to grab the charged tier to boost our charged attacks with the roars. That's incredible, honestly, the damage increase that we're going to get. And after that, we're going to go for the Axe Talisman too. And across from the tree by a sleeping Rune Bear, and a little bit of a hint here, by the way, about Rune Bears. The reason there's Trina's Lily here, I believe, is because they are weak to sleep, so it gives you a little bit of a hint on how to fight them. You're going to grab the Axe Talisman. Next, we're going to go back to the Roundtable hold because we're going to take Golden Vow, or we're going to put it on a dagger. So we have the Golden Vow buff, increasing our damage and defense by 10%, and Flame Grant Me Strength, which will increase our physical attack by 20%. So this one's a little bit sped up with a mid-game skip, but you're going to drink your tier with the charged tier in it, and then you're going to make sure that you have the Roar Medallion equipped. That's the only talisman you'll have available to equip. I believe you just have one slot at this point, and make sure you use Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength before you go in to take on Margit. And of course, you could use the Shackle that you get from patches to make the fight easier. And once you use the Roar, which will be your Ash of War, you'll be able to have altered charged attacks that will do poise damage and a little bit of increased status build up. Later on, that's going to matter more once we have Blood Affinity, but for now, it'll allow us to get quick poison procs too. I'm not going to guide you through the entire dungeon of Stormville Castle, which I believe is one of the best dungeons in the game. You should experience yourself, but once you find this grafted Scion enemy, there is a Highland axe there you're going to want to grab because it has a passive boost for roars. Also, behind that grafted Scion, there's an elevator. Take that up, it'll bring you back to Rampart Tower, and you can follow me on screen once you have that elevator unlocked to grab the Whetblade that'll allow us to use Keen Affinity in the meantime before we can grab Blood Affinity. And go back to the Roundtable hold and the smither there, but you're going to equip Keen Affinity on the Venomous Fang using the same exact Ash of War in Warcry. Same concept here, drink your tear with the charged tear in it, make sure you use Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength, and then go in for a complete Brawler build, trying to get in as many charged attacks as you can, which will also do posture damage. Keep using charge attacks, by the way, to get a couple posture breaks in, and of course, once he's poisoned, his health is going to tick down with Deadly Poison, which lasts around 30 seconds. And now we're going to go over equipment so far. We have the Venomous Fang and Keen Affinity with Warcry. We have the dagger with Golden Vow on it. We have the Highland Axe for his passive. We're under 16 for our equipment load. We have Roar Medallion, Blue Dancer Charm. We have the Spike Crack tier and the Green Spill Crystal tier. I don't know if the passive still works, whether or not you have the stats for it, so make sure you get to 12 Strength just in case, 20 Dexterity, 14 Arcane, 15 Faith, and 20 Vigor. And now for the mid-game skip, where I'm going to be showing a lot of the map. As you progress the game, naturally, you're going to grab these items along the way. The next up here in the lakes, in this cavern, is going to be the Smithing Stone 1 Bell Bearing. You're going to work your way through the dungeon, and then you can actually break this boss and make the fight a lot easier by using the Roar and the Altered Charge attacks. After you beat this boss, you'll be grabbing Smithing Stone 1 Bell Bearing, which will allow you to buy the Smithing Stone 1s and 2s for the game. Yeah, those bell bearings carry over to New Game Plus too once they're handed in. Next up, we're going to go to the Ravine here. You can grab the 2 pieces for the Grand Lift of Dectus if you want to go that way. I chose to go this way, and you're going to go through this area to get to the Altless Plateau. Once you're at the top, you can fight the Magworm. By the way, there is a summon outside. If you need help, you can summon him. That will help you out a lot. And then if you don't feel like using the summon, or if you want to cheese him, you could poison him, hit him a couple times, and then use the pillar in the middle to kind of wait out his health bar, and he will go down relatively fast. Magworms are easy, no reason to show that whole fight. Part 35 is Smithing Stone Bell Bearing 2. We're going to need this so we can upgrade our weapon to plus 12, and there it is on the map there in the Altless Plateau. Next up, go back to Fort Gaol, and once you're here, you can follow me directly on screen. We're going to head towards the portal that's going to take us to Radahn's castle, Redmane Castle, so we can move forward with the game and get closer to getting Blood Affinity. And look exactly where I'm at on the map. In Caelid, you're going to grab Rot Breath. If you fought the Magworm, you already have a Dragon Heart. This is going to make Radahn easier because he's weak to Rot, and on top of the summons, you can use this on horseback to speed up the fight. I'm just going to show the end of the Radahn fight here. I ended up using summons and rot, a combination of both. As you can see, his health continued to tick down, and the summons fought him, and I pretty much didn't do anything other than hang back. You're going to get a lot of runes for this, and this is going to open up the section of the map we need to open up to grab the Whetblade for Blood Affinity. And now you'll end up with a marker on the map in Limgrave and Mistwood. You're going to go right there to the Starfall Crater, and you're going to work your way down through Nokron and continue to follow the very linear path. By the way, this is how I leveled up post Radahn. If this helps you at all, this is basically Dexterity and Arcane for the entire build. Once again, I'm not going to go over the entire Nokron, but once you beat Mimic, which is fairly straightforward as to getting to him, it's just a little bit of platforming. You're going to follow directly where I go, and this is going to allow you to get the Whetblade. This part's a little bit harder, so I figured I'd show on screen exactly how to get there. And once you have that Whetblade, you're going to go back to the Roundtable, hold the smither there, and we're going to put our Venomous Fang into Blood Affinity, which now will give us both Blood Loss and Poison build-up, and allow us to proc Kindred Rot's Exultation and Lord of Blood's Exultation, which we'll be getting to. Now go back to the Erdtree Gazing Hillside of Grace in the Altless Plateau. You're going to need to go here and then follow me on screen directly. We're going to head to a very straightforward pathway, and we're going to end up going into the first cave that's on the right that has a stone sword key door. Navigate that cave, and you're going to be getting Kindred of Rot's Exultation, which will give you 20% more damage when you proc Poison, and is a huge part of any Poison build. Now, once you have the capital unlocked, we're going to go to Avenue Balcony Site of Grace. Follow me from the Avenue Balcony Site of Grace, avoid the knights. We're going to end up jumping over the side here, heading down a well, and going towards the Catacombs that have Lord of Blood's Exultation. Now I showed all of that part. At part 46, we're going to move on to the Catacombs. Follow me and be very careful at this part because not only does a lot of this area involve platforming, it has one of the most obnoxious enemies, so either fight them or run past them in my case, but be careful either way. Now, I'm not going to navigate the entire Catacombs for you. It's not that big. It's very linear in a sense. It does loop around a little bit, but when you get to the second flame pillar, you're going to jump up it. You're working your way around to get to the lever that opens the first boss door, and that boss will drop Lord of Blood's Exultation. Now, when you walk in, you can use Rot Breath. It'll take out the 2 dogs if you buff beforehand. This boss is a relatively tough boss. However, he has low poise. Be careful with him. You'll end up defeating him relatively quickly. In my case, it took 3 or 4 tries, especially if you use Summons and Rot Breath. Alright, now that we have our entire checklist, we have Lord of Blood's Exultation, we have Kindred of Rot's Exultation, we have the Roar Medallion, we have the Blue Dancer Charm, and we have the Charge Tier, we have our buffs and Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow, we have Blood Affinity and the Highland Axe passive. We have everything we need to make a powerful Roar build with the Venomous Fang, and kind of a brawler build that turned out to be a lot of fun too. I hope this was helpful, and I hope everybody enjoyed this one. This was a really fun one for me to do. I know I went through some parts quick, but trust me, this would have been 2 or 3 hours long if I didn't cut some parts out. That's why I ended up using the map and speeding up the mid-game part. But yeah, you can see the full build on Morgott. I think I end up getting a no-hit here, maybe? I don't know. I think so. And it ends up doing a lot of damage. A crazy amount of damage here on Morgott. A lot of poison procs, bleed procs, everything we need. And we get a lot of posture damage too. I think there's a poise break in there. Overall, a powerful, solid build for the Venomous Fang. As you move throughout the game, you're going to end up loving the Venomous Fang. They're an incredible weapon, and with roars, apparently really fun to use too as a brawler type build. Thanks for watching this one. I hope this helped a lot. I know it was one of my longer videos and I didn't talk through all of it, but I tried to describe everything the best I can. Definitely be sure to sub if you're not subbed yet. We're going to do more early game guides on this channel. If you want to see more early game guides, by the way, be sure to comment below. And of course, the usual stuff as well. There's shorter content between 5 and 10 minutes because originally I intended to do that on this channel. But the occasional early game guide as well. I hope this video helped a lot. Thanks for watching, and I will catch everybody soon.